Welcome to the lesson APU. Welcome to the lesson APU. The RJ is fitted with a Sundstrand APS 1000 APU located in a fire-resistant titanium box under the fin. An AC generator is fitted to the APU to supply electrical power on the ground and in the air. The APU is also used to supply air for flight and ground use. It is used for air conditioning, particularly on takeoff and landing, to allow the engines to produce maximum power if required. The APU is a self-contained gas turbine engine which is controlled from the APU panel by the pilot. The air intake is on the left side of the fin. Access for maintenance and servicing is through a large door under the unit. The exhaust is on the right side to avoid ingestion of exhaust gases. Fuel for the APU is drawn from the left inner feed tank. The APU will start normally using suction feed. The left inner fuel pump is used when AC electrics are available. The APU requires a 24-volt DC power supply from the aircraft battery. This is the minimum requirement for starting and control. Alternatively, any AC power source may be used to start the APU, but via TR1 only. If an AC source is not available, a suitable external DC source may be used to power the start bus only. The batteries, however, must remain on to power the control circuits and fire protection. On the ground, APU generator supplies AC1 and AC2 and has priority over external AC. In flight, the APU generator can only supply AC1 or AC2. In the event of a double-engine generator failure, it will supply AC1 only. Air is supplied via the APU air valve for air conditioning and other services which are covered in the air supplies module. If the APU generator is used to start the engines, APU air must be off. This is to prevent the APU shutting itself down due to overtemperature. The APU is protected both on the ground and in the air by a series of auto shutdown features. Additionally, an APU fire will shut down the APU on the ground only. This feature permits the flight deck to be left unattended for short periods on the ground. If the fire warning comes on in flight, the APU would remain running until shut down by the crew. On the flight deck, the APU may be shut down by the start-stop switch. On the ground only, the APU overspeed switch on the ground test panel may be used. Alternatively, when the aircraft is on the ground, one of the two emergency shutdown switches can be used to shut down the APU. These emergency switches are located in the air conditioning bay and next to the refuel panel. If one of the external emergency switches is used, the next action must be to go to the flight deck and place the start-stop switch to stop. This is to prevent the APU from automatically restarting the next time power is applied to the aircraft. There is also a customer option that will sound an external horn until the APU switch is placed to stop. Attempts to start the APU should be limited to a maximum of 3 attempts at 1-minute intervals, ending with a 5 minutes cooling period. 3 further attempts may be made with the same intervals. Then the entire cycle can only be repeated after 30 minutes. The APU starting envelope is 0 to 20,000 feet. If the APU is required in an emergency, a start can be attempted above this altitude, but may not be successful. The EGT limit is dependent on the operational mode. Under continuous operation, the maximum EGT is 718 degrees Celsius. During starting, the maximum EGT is 1032 degrees Celsius. The APU has a maximum speed limitation of 106.5%. An overspeed shutdown will occur above this speed. On the ground, the APU generator limits are continuous use within the green sector, a 5-minute use within the amber sector, and a 5-second use only within the red sector. The APU generator may not be used in flight above an altitude of 25,000 feet. APU air can be supplied up to a maximum altitude of 15,000 feet. You need to check the condition of the APU door and ensure that it is closed and secure. Next, check the APU and pack exhaust on the right side of the fin. They should be clear. Check the APU intake and the pack exhaust on the left side of the fin. They should be clear. Finally, check the fire bottle thermal relief indicator. It should be green. Should there be any problems with any of the components you have checked, call an engineer. Check that the APU generator is in the on position. When the APU is started and APU power is available, the APU generator will automatically power the aircraft bus bars. The integrity of the APU fire detection system must be checked by pressing the APU fire test button on the overhead ground test panel.
Do it, please.
This test must be carried out before the APU is started. If the APU is running when this test is carried out, it will automatically shut down.
Do it, please.
APU start. Before APU is started, APU air must be off. The APU valve not shut annunciator should be checked to make sure it is out. On the fuel panel, the left inner fuel pump is selected on.
Do it, please.
The bulk on the APU start-stop switch is released and the star position selected. The start power on annunciator on the engines panel will light. The APU fuel valve annunciator on the APU panel will also light briefly as the fuel valves open. The APU RPM is checked to ensure that it increased smoothly. At 50% RPM, the start power on the annunciator goes out.